Hello, this is Cenk from Extreminal TV. I'm with the guys from the Zloslut from Serbia. Now you are watching the interview in Extreminal TV. Hello guys, you are the first band from the Extreminal's international video interview series.
Thank you.
Firstly, can you tell us about who is Zloslut?
Well,
what did you record? What did you release before?
okay. So Zloslut, I founded the band in early 2010. It was as a one-man band. Zloslut in English means something, should be translated as ominous, but it means the one who feels evil forthcoming. Also, there was, I recorded two albums, one EP, but the ideology changed a bit over the years as the band evolves and individuals who are in the band as well. Since 2016 we are a full member band now, and we are working full time ever since as a full band.
Okay, continue with the other questions. Originally from the Belgrade, Serbia, have you ever got any chance to play abroad?
Yes, in 2015 we played in Paris and Nice. It was amazing shows, but our last show was in
2017.
Yeah. And after that we stopped with live activities so we can focus on new material, and pretty much that's it.
Yes.
Your third album is called Sahar.
Yeah.
Just released 1 year ago.
Yeah.
What would you like to tell us about this album? How the audience react your album?
Well, so far so
Very
good.
close, very good. It was very good.
I think it was kind of a surprise for
us.
Not just for us, I think also for the people who follow the band, because Zloslut was pretty much a primitive kind of black metal band with the first two albums and the EP. It was more like
raw,
with the sound, but also ideologically it was more about death, nihilism, misanthropy. But as I said earlier, as a band evolves and the individual evolves, some of us have changed the views about many things in everyday life.
You also have to keep in mind that Zloslut was a one-man band before, and once you join new people, something's just changed, you know. So we found that, we found a balance between four of us, and it just works out.
Yes, I mean, Sahar, during the beginning of the recording session, I mean, even before when we started to compose the music, since all the previous albums I've done them myself, I thought that it was never going to be completed, because we're all different in the band. We all have our idea of what the band should be, but
different music.
Yes, but anyways, we managed to find a central point in both the music and ideology, and at the end of the day, this was Sahar, and I think it turned out pretty good. The public was quite surprised, because they know what Zloslut was before and what Zloslut is today. So definitely, I'm happy with the result. Very happy, actually.
Okay. We can see that you used 3 different languages before the previous albums.
Yeah.
For example, Serbian, French, and English. But last album is titled in Persian. Why you choose the title? Why you choose the Persian language? And what things are mainly different from the previous chords?
Well, Sahar, which means early morning, dawn. When I started to write the first lyrics for that album, I noticed that I was really inspired by antique civilizations, also by events that happened thousands of years ago. And for some reason, I thought that Sahar was the best name that could describe the new age of Zloslut, but also all the lyrics, all the music that is in that album, it reflects 100%, no doubt about it.
Let's put it like this. Let's say this is like a new chapter in Zloslut, you know? So Sahar fits perfectly because, like it's already been said, it's a new dawn. So this is like a new starting point where things are put on a higher level.
Okay. What about the deal with the Morbid Chapel Records? And they are releasing your album, your band names pretty different places in the world. How can you deal with this label, and what new things are waiting for your future?
Well, we are more than pleased with our relation with Morbid Chapel Records. I mean, the guy who runs the label he's a maniac. He's a real maniac. He's very passionate about music, so I mean, we feel like he's like a fifth member of Zloslut. He's very dedicated to the things
that we do.
Sorry?
That we do.
Yeah, that we do. And I mean, if there's a chance to stay on this label, we will definitely stay with him because I mean,
he's a great guy, definitely. He was by our side ever since we started to finish the compositions and all the lyrics. I remember the first messages that we exchanged with him. He liked the early material of Zloslut, so he was also very surprised with Sahar, but he really liked it, and he did a great job with the physical release, with the promotion, with everything that an album should go on. And
that's what happens when you have like someone who's very passionate about music. You know, it's not to him it's not business, and there are few labels nowadays that are really into black metal. Morbid Chapel Records is definitely a newer label, but on the other hand, I think he will do just fine. Also, it's worth mentioning, he runs a sub-label called Forgotten Castle Records, and it's focused on dark ambient music, so it's...
You should check it out, check
it out, and believe us, the guy is like...
Yeah, that's back to your newest album is Sahar. What your guys' expectations about this album, and what is the lyrical concept in this album?
Well, our expectations, I think that well, there is no like an expectation. We sort of...
I would say there were expectations. We wanted to make something that even when we grow really old, we will be very proud of making, you know, and pushing the... when you're an artist, you constantly try to push the boundaries. And with this release, we wanted to push the boundaries as far as we can. So, yeah, I mean, we are in that sense.
There was an expectation in that regard, but we had an expectation as in means of publicity, as in means of, I don't know, find a better label, great, and start to play huge festivals. That's not what is. That's not us, simply. Also, the lyrical concept is pretty much about spirituality, psychology, and also the philosophy of it all combined. I think, and I like to believe that that's what we achieved. I mean, you have the Shadow Dweller's Tyranny, the lyrics which Inomatanas wrote down, and it's pretty much about sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
And it deals pretty much with the psychology and stuff like that. But you also have collapsing of cardinality and the rising of absolute, to break the circle of samsara, become the beyond. They all deal with spirituality and some sort of definition which is defined by us. It's not, we didn't read a book and started to write what this book means to us. We maybe, for example, in To Break the Circle of Samsara, you quoted the Bhagavad Gita, but this is just inspiration-wise. You know, it's not about writing a synopsis of the book.
Of course. For instance, we also quoted Nietzsche.
No, Nietzsche.
Yes. Nietzsche. The thing is, we like to read. We like horror movies and stuff, so that type of culture really affects us, and we cannot pretend like that's not there. And instead of like transcribing those words, we'll quote them, but we will not like use a book and make a shorter
resume about that. Yeah.
Okay. Next question about the black metal scene in the world. What do you think about the changing image of the black metal scene? I mean, most of the bands doing the hoodie mask or something like that.
Yeah.
Like Batushka,
It's certainly a thing, yeah.
Or Behemoth. What do you think about this? Is it trend, or which hide the face with ritualistic clothes like priests? What do you think about it?
Well, black metal has certainly evolved since the late 80s, early 80s, whatever. I think there is a bit of trend in that, definitely. But I also think that it's some kind of evolution, that people are trying to push the boundaries. I think that people are pretty much fed up with all the corpse paint thing. They want to be maybe more mysterious, maybe it's because of the ideology, but there are certainly a lot of underground band that looks like Mugwa and so on. I don't give a lot of attention to that. If the music is okay, if the lyrics they write reflects to their image, then I'm fine with that.
Well, we mentioned Batushka, Behemoth, and so on. Everyone, I hate when someone says like, oh, you should listen to that band, it's posing. Why are you listening to the music? Because it just brings up some emotions. And let's be honest, besides classical music, black metal is very emotional music. So I don't mind someone listening to those bands. They do their stuff. I don't mind. But I really don't like the fact that you have now a lot of copy-paste bands. It's more like a feeling that someone put a hoodie on and the other band says like, oh, they look good, let's do this, and then there's a third band saying, yeah, I think that we will do the same.
And also
there's that band. There was that band from the United States called Wada.
Yeah.
Pretty much everyone noticed that it was even the music sounds like Mugwa. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of the band. I don't judge this, but it certainly is a bit strange.
And the thing is, they are hyping the bands that are getting attention. For instance, who was listening to Mugla when they were releasing like first 7 EP, and 7-inch EP? Now, when they were like more like a project, whereas Grig's Machine was the main band. Once Mugla became a live band, everyone was like, yeah, Mugla. And if you can notice, you will see that people are pushing pictures of newer albums. No one is going back to those. And
yes, there's definitely that problem. I mean, when I first watched Mugwa, there was like 100 people. Now it's packing big clubs and everything. So it's. I mean, the band has an amazing. Yes, they're amazing, an amazing band, and they certainly deserve all the fame. But I think that many people are just here because of the hype, because of YouTube, because of Facebook, because of all those kind of stuff. So yeah.
We're missing bands like what the fuck happened to bands like Archgold? You have Archgold. Can anybody look at them?
Yes, definitely.
That's one of the best black metal bands in the world, and you're fucking like putting hoodie. Where are the spikes, the chains, and so on? I mean, okay, we in Zloslut, we changed our image.
But Archgold is like more traditional black metal, exactly. And we are not the same.
I'm saying about the bands like who are pushing that traditional approach, but again, they're covering their faces. Okay, corpse paint in a way became a mockery, let's be honest, because with the internet nowadays you have those memes. Yeah, those funny pictures, and I see people like guy who's like dressed almost like war, and he's like, I'm black metal. That became like.
I mean, this conversation can really go on for the next 24 hours.
Bring back bands. Let's go. Bring back bands like. Which one?
Like a lot of them.
Bands.
I mean, nobody is even doing stuff like Judas Iscariot.
I mean, has anyone listened to Gorgorod? Come on, guys. I mean, it's
the early stuff, I think. Yeah. But my idea was more like something like old Judas Iscariot. This type of ideology, this type of dedication is completely not lost, but definitely it's not the main focal point of today's events.
Also, I mean, we have to say, Vatane, for instance, they're keeping the spirit alive. You may like them, you may think that they're posers, you can say whatever you want, but if we talk about the black flame, black metal, they're definitely keeping it. They didn't invent anything, they just used what was supposed to be there.
The three main thing: blood, fire, death.
Blood, fire, death, exactly. And as well as we mentioned Behemoth, nowadays a lot of people are saying many bad things about them. But let's like they don't look like Nergal or something like that. But the thing is, the guy beat cancer, you know, leukemia, right?
Leukemia.
So the guy literally has the right to do whatever he wants to do, and he's still doing the fucking same thing, pushing also the boundaries. It's not people are constantly thinking that okay, you are they have like a lot of t-shirts, they have like this and that and this and that, their merchandise. People are asking for that stuff. It's not like they're printing and like pushing it like, hey, buy that. No, it's people want to buy t-shirts. You have like 100 t-shirts printed. People want more, 100 t-shirts more. Okay, let's do another design. We have the money. That's pretty much it. You have a lot of money. You will invest in your stage.
Huge fan base.
Exactly. So I'm protecting the anyone can say whatever they want, but yeah, they're good band. They're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Last two questions. I want to ask you about the former Yugoslavian countries. Can you advise any good metal bands in this area? Or
Yes.
in the past or now? It doesn't matter.
There is definitely a lot of. I mean, from Yugoslavia is a big. There's a huge list of different bands, whether it's from Serbia, Croatia, Slovenia, and so on. But since now it's all breakdown and everything, so from Serbia there's awesome bands who are really dedicated, and yes, we'll mention, so, but definitely, like as he mentioned, the Stone, Svartgren, Vehementer, and many other good bands. Propas as well, yes.
From Srpska, we have Zvijer. That's a new band. They're really good. From Slovenia, I think it's Bleeding Fist.
Bleeding Fist, I think.
Yes.
And
Somrak
as well.
Definitely Croatia.
And the one who unifies all that is Bombarder, whether you like it or not.
Is it any legendary bands?
Yes, Bombarder, Heller. And there's many bands from the 80s who pretty much built all the scene of today. Also the classic death metal band, the first Bloodbath ever. Yes, not the Swedish one, the Yugoslavian one.
Okay. It's a classic question for us, from us. When you want to listen metal, and what's the first album you bought? And you
want to answer first, or
you go first?
Okay, so I didn't have to buy my first metal album. My father was a fan of, I mean, he's still a fan of Iron Maiden and softer bands like AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, so on. I remember the first metal song I ever listened was The Number of the Beast and The Trooper from the live album A Real Dead One, and the single Running Free, Run to the Hills, and I was blown away by those songs. And I started buying a magazine because it was before I had internet and any means of getting to know black metal was still far away. It was, I didn't even know it existed. So, but yeah, I bought many Iron Maiden albums. Then with all the magazines and so on, I started to notice that there was bands like Mayhem, like Dimmu Borgir, like I don't know, Samael, and of course those bands were. The songs I could listen on the sampler CDs were new stuff. So, for example, Samael, those were the new industrial stuff. But it was easier for me to check their older stuff from the earlier albums. Worship Him, for example, Mayhem. When I listened for my first time to the Mysteries Inomatanas, it was a revelation, and Burzum and so on. But then I started buying LPs and started to build my collection.
For me, everything started as a kid, but it was not like metal. It was Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction. I was really a kid. And I started with Private Classes.
That's a great album, of course.
Still, everyone who knows me that I'm obsessed with that album. And the thing is, I was starting with like Private Classes of English, so I could understand everything. Pretty much. But after that, I got Metallica's Ride Lighting, and at that point, I mean, I was a kid, but my folks were into rock music, so it was kind of natural. And I felt that sound was, that electric guitar, everything, the speed was for me.
It was the spirit as well.
Spirit. After that, I know I was going through phases and I was into thrash metal and so on. I'm still into some bands like Sodom, for instance. But in black metal, I think my first record was from, I would say, I think it was Immortal, At the Heart of Winter.
Oh, yes.
Or maybe Damned in Black, I'm not sure. And for death metal, I think it was Cannibal Corpse, It Came Back to Life.
For me, it was Gallery of Suicide. It was a great album.
I mean, I was, since at that time, it was like around the 90s-some. You didn't have many signs around here, so it was pretty much you were going to a store, and if you look at the cover, it was like, oh wow, this is something for me, you know? And yeah, that's why, for instance, Zloslut is nowadays very passionate about covers, because we know that sometimes that imagery means a lot.
I mean, it's certainly very important into black metal. It's pretty much the illustration of all your music, of all your lyrics, of your ideas and so on. So it has to be important, but it's not just the imagery, of course. There are bands who have amazing artworks, amazing
and when you scratch that,
photography and everything. But when you scratch that, as he said, there's nothing behind that. There's nothing to support that imagery, and that's why when we work for a new album, we always obviously to the music, the lyrics. And after that, that's what is the visual part of all this all combined. So yeah, definitely it is important. It is important.
Like Agnarion said, it's you need to find a balance. You know, if you have a good artwork and you have like a shitty record, fuck that. You know? But you need to have a solid material. And good artwork and everything becomes like a cherry on top. So that's what we did with this album. I mean, we feel that we accomplished that. You know, finding that balance.
Yeah, definitely.
That fits perfectly. And I would like just to mentioned the girl who did the artwork, Anna.
Ensemble.
Yeah, she passed away. We just explained her what we wanted to have on our cover. She did it, and
it was beyond our expectation. Yes.
We will eternally be
grateful to that, and the album is dedicated to her memory, to the memory of Ensemble.
I want to add extra thing this question. What is your preferred? The physical copies of CDs or vinyls or tapes or digital platforms?
Definitely the physical part. I mean, I know it's materialistic, but I don't care, you know. It's very hard nowadays. I mean, we all try to be to put the ego behind, to put the materialistic part behind. But we live in a material world, so it definitely matters. It's the same for me because I like to read. I can't read on my computer, I can't read on my phone. I need the book, I need to see the cover, I need to smell the pages. And it's the same with records. When I take a vinyl and I look to the cover and
you have to feel it.
I have to feel it. I just have to.
What do you think about the digital platforms like YouTube?
Well, it's useful.
Spotify.
It's useful. Yeah. We recently all our albums are available on Spotify, Google Play, and so on. It's very useful. I use it also, but only on my phone because, you know, I won't have
you can't carry an LP with you.
Or even a CD. It's not 2005 anymore. I mean, I still have my Walkman, but it's not practical. So definitely I support the digital era, but I still and will always support even more the physical part. And I dread the day when people will close the companies of vinyl, of pressing plants for CDs, and so on. So,
to put it simply, if I may, buy or get a digital copy for you to have you on your phone so you can listen while you're going to your job or whatever. But if you really want to enjoy the music, obtain the physical copy. There's nothing better than when you put a needle on a record and you just open the booklet and read lyrics. It's more like a ritualistic moment for...
It's very meditative and reflective, so definitely it's important.
I hope, honestly, like Agnarion said for the books, that this will never perish because it has some feeling to it.
Because yeah, there's people today live with this philosophy: if it's not on the internet, it didn't happen. And I say that that's not how it should be. I mean, it has to materialize. That's a very special feeling. If you're a writer, if you're an artist, or whatever. When you're working hard to create the music, to create the lyrics, to record all of it, and then you just upload it online, I mean, it's okay, but there's something that is missing behind all that. I don't know. So it's very important when we got our albums from the pressing plant, and you can just open and to feel the feeling. Yes, it's a very special feeling.
And smell.
And the smell of the booklet, yeah.
But I will save you like defense words for digital media. It is useful when you're discovering new bands.
Yes.
Because you know there are bands from really small countries. They don't have the opportunity to release, or it's just expensive for them to send physical copies and so on. So in that way, it's much easier to
reach more people.
To reach more people, exactly. And you know, on the other hand, you have the chance to listen to an album before you buy it. I know, for instance, in some stores on the West, you have the chance to come to the store and listen to the album before you buy it, you know. But that's not
the old school way.
Old school way, yes. Nowadays, not so. So listening to some digital...
when you go to a CD shop, you know what you're going to buy usually, and it's very rare that people are ready to risk to put some money into an album that they don't know. So definitely, yes, it is. The internet era is very important, but it's also it's also counterproductive because there are so many bands that, in my opinion, I don't want to say that they're not worth existing, but it's simply hard for other bands to emerge when you have that puddle and there's and you're just one little drop of water in all that. And it's
too many bands.
Too many bands, definitely. Too many bands.
Also, I thank you to guys for your answers.
Thank you for having us.
It's very pleasure for me. It's first time. I hope it will continue with the other bands. It's you guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And thanks to everybody who supports Extreminal TV.
Also, what you want to say to people know first time, see first time you guys?
Well,
what you want to say?
Don't judge us by this interview. Go and listen to music. This is all nice to listen to what we think about the scene, about our albums and so on. But the real thing is the music. And if you have time and if you have the will, that's what people lack today, the will. They should go straight to, I don't know, any means and start to listen to Zloslut and to make their own thinking about that.
I would like to say that for us, we would like to reach as many people and play in front of many people because we really believe that the energy that we bring is something special. You see, we are not like, we don't have a signed contract, we are friends. And when you have friends playing music, it brings like a special moment into that, you know. So I would just suggest people, if you want to see Zloslut, come see us live and you will feel the energy.
Definitely live and the music from the studio. That's the main thing. So
I mean, our rehearsals are
awesome. Well, all of that. There are so many things that people just see the concert, people just see the album, they don't see what's all behind that. But that's normal. You cannot, I cannot judge that. I don't care.
And of course, if you are at our gig, yes, we would like to have a beer with you. So we are not like egoistic minions who are. We feel like we appreciate our fans.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Thank you.